Okay, I'm going to do a little video on the sine function first. So y equals sine x always looks like this. The maximum height is 1, the minimum height is -1, so that's where it turns here. And it's going to cut the x-axis at 0, 180 and 360. If I change a number at the front, so I've made it y equals 3 sine x, all that would change is instead of the height being 1 and -1, it's now going to be 3 and -3. If I make it 5 sine x, it just goes up to 5, down to -5. If I make it 6 sine x, it'll go up to 6, down to -6, and so on. So the number at the front determines the height of the graph. The number at the front is called the amplitude, and it's half the height. So the full height of the one that's currently there is 10, because it goes from -5 up to 5. So if the full height's 10, the amplitude is 5. So the amplitude is always that wee number that's right in front of the sine, cos, or tan. The period is how many degrees one curve takes. So the one, that is one curve, because the sine curve's continuous, it'll keep going. So it'll go back here as well, okay? You can keep drawing it. But one curve is finished at 360 degrees. So the period of all sine graphs, as long as there's no number in front of the x, is 360 degrees. If there's number in front of the x, it's different. Okay, this time the graph is finishing at 180 degrees, not at 360. So the period is going to be 180 degrees, because one graph's finishing at 180. So the number that'll come after the sine is 2x. The reason for this is because normally we draw between 0 and 360 degrees, and in that space you'd be able to fit 2 of those curves, so that's why it's a 2x. And the other way to calculate the period is just take 360 degrees and divide by the number in front of x, which is 2 in this case. So if you're asked for the period, it would be 180 degrees, because you might not have your sketch there, so you just do 360 divided by whatever the number in front of your x is to get the period. So the period will be 360 degrees unless there's a number in front of the x. Your amplitude is always this number. So in this case, your amplitude is 5 and the period is 180 degrees. If you're just given the equation and you're asked to find the period and amplitude, this is what you would do. So 6 is the number at the front, so that's your amplitude. The period, it says 3x, so that means you can fit 3 curves between 0 and 360. So all you do is 360 divided by 3, and you'll get 120 degrees. Okay, so your period would be 120 degrees, and your amplitude would be 6 for this one.